Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. And I am looking at an article. Again, this is a columnist we've talked about on the air before. His name is Laura Snyder, and she writes a column for the Netscape Network, which is kind of a weak competitor to Yahoo or Google or one of these things. Originally born out of that stupid browser, Netscape, that Microsoft essentially put out of business. Now introduced to being a kind of a lame website. But this columnist we've talked about before, because she says some outrageous stuff. Outrageous. And here is an article she has written called, "Is His Porn Appetite Eating Away Your Relationship?" And here's the story. It's a column, actually. A racy movie or saucy website can shake up a snoozing sex life. But is there ever too much of a good thing? Seems so, she said. Of course, look who did this study. According to a recent study at Texas Christian University. I'm sure that was unbiased. When it comes to porn watching, size does matter. Studying an online survey of male porn viewers, researcher Ryan Burns found that men who consume the most porn, viewing more than 6 hours of the stuff weekly, are more likely to describe women in sexualized and feminine terms than are men who view less porn. What is wrong about describing women in sexualized or feminine terms? What's wrong with that? Maybe the columnist is not all that feminine. Why would you be offended by being referred to in a feminine way? Huh? She says here they also tend to categorize women in stereotypically traditional female gender roles. Again. So what? You know what? Those stereotypically traditional feminine gender roles have worked out pretty well for the people who follow them, may I say. And I'm not even into porn. But when we know what our gender roles are, we know what we're supposed to do. There's a lot less nagging, a lot less screaming, a lot less complaining. Everybody knows their job. We know which side takes out the garbage. We know which side is birthing babies. We know. No debating about this. The column continues. Laura Snyder says, ever wonder how else his porn proclivity may skew his views of love and sex? That's what women are supposed to look like, an old flame of mine once patiently explained to me when our late-night channel surfing landed on a sexy station. He was not kidding. Men have spent too much free time soaking up the shenanigans of size 2D cups. Size 2D cups. Have trouble believing that the average woman off screen is under 5.5 feet tall and weighs 140 pounds. Who cares what the average woman is? We want better than average. And if we're paying the bills and we make more money, we deserve to be better and better and better than average. Colin goes on to say, we're not sure what's worse, when he thinks you want a sexual soundtrack detailing his every move, or when he expects you to chime in with your own gratuitous, ooh, babies. Reality check. Adult film stars use a dialogue that only works in the movies. The rest of us are usually just making embarrassing breathing noises, which works fine for us. So she's also saying, I think this is revealing more about this woman's own attitude about sex than it is about men or women or anybody else. Haven't you ever engaged in absolutely vulgar conversation in bed? Come on. Come on. You spanking that ass? Come on. Please. She, finally, in the final paragraph here, says, like, we really need a venue to perpetuate the myth that women can get off with nothing but 20 minutes of some well-endowed dude jackhammering away at her. Of course, a shared grand finale is always a simple feat if only it were true. Well, that's where you're wrong. I don't think most men could care less about having an orgasm at the same time. Frankly, I think most of us would be perfectly happy to have an orgasm by ourselves. With you there. And if you're not there, okay then too. But, look, here's another example, and I want to talk about the porn thing. First of all, I just have to put this disclaimer anytime I talk about porn. I have no objection to pornography. Long as you're not exploiting children, I have no objection to pornography. I have no objection to it in any way, shape, or form. I think that no matter what fetish you have, as long as you're not imprisoning or endangering minors, I think anything goes, and I think anything that can be done legally should also be photographable and distributable and exchangeable. No two ways about it. So I don't have any problem with people having, possessing, looking at, or enjoying pornography. You know what I'm saying? At all. None. It's just that I don't happen to get off on pornography. I don't get off on looking at it. It doesn't do anything for me. Why? Because I'd much rather see a naked picture of a cashier at the supermarket who I could potentially actually have than to see some model I'll never meet, or to see some woman who in reality is a lesbian heroin addict with 2 children or whatever. I would rather see women. I'd rather be looking in an open window across the street at a woman undressing than to see any model in a magazine. Just me. I know most guys are not me, whatever. Having said all of that, we talk about nagging on this program and women who nag, and pornography is another example of something that women love to complain about and love to take personally. Because women are under this delusion that men who get off looking at pornography somehow are emotionally involved with these digital images or still photographs, when in reality, we all know we're never meeting these chicks. We're never going to get our hands on these chicks. These are probably not their real names. We'll never have their real phone numbers or know what city, state, or country they live in. We know nothing about them. And we don't spend much time fantasizing about them either. One good look, drop the box of shorts, we're off to the races. Bam, that's it. But yet there are women who get really, 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 really offended by this. And pornography is another example of something. You know, men don't suddenly develop an interest in pornography. Generally, a man who's interested today was interested 6 years ago. And if that is an issue for you, that's a good question to ask a man early on if you're really concerned about it. And by the way, I'm not criticizing you if you don't like the fact that your man likes to go into your spare bedroom with his computer and close the door and, start surfing around the internet for images of who knows what. Then I have no problem with you having a problem with it, but as long as you bring it up early. What I don't like and what I don't go along with are these women who know that when a guy was single, he looked at pornography, he looked at Playboy, he looked at Penthouse, he looked at websites or whatever, he looked at videos with his friends or DVDs, whatever, went to bachelor parties and what, and then you think when he gets married he's going to stop doing all that stuff, because he's not. And I'll tell you something else. The more times you tell him you got a headache, the more times you tell him you want to go to bed early, the more times you tell him you're not interested, the more he's going to cruise into your spare bedroom and start looking for pornography. That's how it works. So these columns about the man's porn appetite eating away at your relationship, guess what? In most cases, this is not some newfound interest for men. This is something they've always been interested in, and I think women ignore it or try to have fun with it in the beginning or try to pretend it doesn't bother them, and then later on they try to put the clamps on. Ouch. Those clamps hurt. But I'm wondering, do you think it's reasonable to get upset at your man for looking at pornography, whether you're a man or a woman? Do you think that's reasonable?
Sound Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Sound Leykis.
1-800-5800-866.
After you bang all night, who wants to get up out of bed and go home?
Me. That's exactly what I want to do.
The Tom Leykis Show.
That's our telephone number. Alyssa, on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good, I'm glad. I wanted to let you know, last month, the AVN Awards in Las Vegas, my husband happened to get a ticket with a buddy, and I sent them off to go, and they played. They went to the VIP parties afterwards. They went to the awards. They saw the stuff. They bought stuff, brought it home for our relationship, and it works for me. I don't see any problem with the pornography.
Right, but the point is, again, some people do and some people don't. The problem is that when a woman accepts a man, she should be accepting him with all his faults and flaws, all the perceived shortcomings, or not be with him. But I think a lot of women ignore the fact that guys look at porn before they marry them or before they move in with them, and then bring it up as an issue later.
Although, you know something, I think that if I had known earlier, I probably would have been more offended. And truthfully, I mean, I've grown into our relationship. You know, when you're with somebody longer, you become a little more of them, they become a little more of you. And the more and more we talk about it, and the more he plays with it, well, with the pornography, that is, it's fine by me. And now, I mean, he has Playboy, it's sitting in the bathroom. Whatever he does with it, it's cool by me. We go into strip joints together now. But you know what? 9 years ago, when we first got married, that would have never happened.
Mm-hmm. And what changed?
My openness, my willingness, and just our trust level. You know, it's fine to me if he looks. It's fine to me if he listens. It's fine to me if he participates on his own.
What about a lap dance?
I don't have a problem with the lap dance as long as he's not, you know, exchanging anything that he shouldn't be.
All right, so no exchanging of fluids.
You got it.
Right. But if they stay in his pants, that's okay.
And I'll come with him.
Really?
We were in New Orleans last month also, and we went to the strip club, too. That was fun.
Wow. So you're okay with it. But again, there are people like you who are okay with it. But then there are women who meet men and don't talk about this or try to ignore it, or like so many other things women think they're going to fix later. They just say, well, we'll just deal with this after I have a ring. And then they make his life a living hell.
Well, and it's like I said, I probably would have been that woman at the beginning. We really never even discussed it. I didn't know he had anything to do with it. But just because I know him now, I love him more and I trust him, not that I've given in. I mean, it's cool by me. I actually enjoy it. I love that he gets excited about it. It brings a total spark to our marriage. You know, actually, I've gotten more involved in it, too, and I have a really, you know, it enhances our sex life completely. But I understand how some women could probably freak out about it, but they have to trust their spouse, and or their boyfriend, and that's just the bottom line. If there's no trust, forget the relationship. It's not even worth it. You have to trust them to be able to do what they want to do when it comes to the pornography. That's all.
Alyssa, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Travis on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
All right, Travis.
Yeah, every Thursday night or so, my wife works late. I go on the internet, take care of business, and she goes on the history and she sees it. She hints at it, you know, not kind of nagging, not too bad, but she hints like, do you ever look at porn or whatever? She actually doesn't even come off that blunt. She'll just hint at pornography. So I just let it go. It's just kind of a thing we don't ever discuss. And then I go away for 3 months with work, and I come home and I look at my cable bill, and lo and behold, there's porn.
Is she watching it alone?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I know you would hope so. But what do you think? You ever think about that?
Yeah, I think she is. I mean,
well, you don't think she'd invite a guy over and he'd say, "Hey, let's dial up the pay-per-view movie here"?
No, I don't.
A lot of that going on in the military, Travis.
Oh, I know it, but I don't.
Your wife would never do that.
No.
Okay.
No, she's I was lucky where I was overseas. We had phone. We could talk a lot, and we definitely took care of that.
What do you mean you took care of it?
We had phone sex a lot.
Oh, you had phone sex. Okay. Now, Travis, did you ever confront her with the cable bill?
Yeah.
And what'd she say?
She just kind of giggled.
She giggled.
I think she grew up Catholic. I think she's a little shy about it still.
Right. So does she give you a hard time now about pornography?
Not at all.
Now that you know she looks at it.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It sure is. By the way, what kind of porn is she into?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I just know the movie titles. I think it's just I think it's lesbian porn, really.
Lesbian porn. Did you know your wife swung that way?
No.
You ever ask her about it?
Yeah, actually I have. We have a lady she works with that likes the both of us.
And?
She's talked about that, but I don't think that's any way to go for a marriage, really.
Well, I agree with you on that, but most men don't agree with me.
No, I don't think it's a good thing for a marriage. It just leads to all kinds of problems.
Yeah, of course, you run the risk that the two of them will get it on while you're gone.
Exactly.
How would you feel about that?
Oh, yuck. Cheating's cheating.
Yeah, well, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Cheating's cheating.
Never know. Maybe she has her friend over there watching porn with her.
Oh, God.
A lot of that in the military, Travis, I'm telling you.
I know it. As long as I don't find out, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pathetic thought, but what else can you do?
Oh, boy. So you're actually conceding it's possible and don't want to know about it.
No, I don't think it's possible at all. I mean, I would put
You don't think it's possible. She's having a conversation with another woman about sex and finds out the woman is attracted to the two of you.
Well, actually, that was me.
You had a conversation with her.
Yeah, I had a conversation with the woman.
And how did this come up, if I may ask?
Actually, I was talking to her before my wife and I had gotten married, and the woman asked, she's like, well, don't you ever, aren't you worried about never being able to sleep with another woman again or anything like that? Do you have any curiosities? And I was like, I've done all that. I've been there, been doing that for a long time. I said, no, I don't have any more curiosities. And she said, did you ever do a threesome? And I said, well, yeah, I've done one when I was in high school, but never recently. Mm. And then I said, beside that, I mean, I don't agree with that in a serious relationship. And she pretty much said, well, if you ever considered it, I'd love to be the third party.
Oh, boy. And you told your wife about that?
Yeah, we laugh about it.
Yeah. Did she seem at all interested in that?
No.
Okay. Just checking. All right, Travis, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. And we're talking about women who have a problem with guys looking at porn. I don't understand why women don't deal with this issue going in. If it's that important to you, why not tell a guy that it's not acceptable or you're not comfortable with it? And then if that's what he's into, how about you move on? And, well, it goes back to what I always say about women. Women pick boyfriends or husbands like they're casting a play. And, well, we'll pick the right guy for the part and we'll direct him later on.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles, 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Laura on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How you doing?
Great.
Just want to say I love your show, too. I listen to you every day.
Thank you.
My whole angle on this porn thing, I have a boyfriend. I've been with him for a few years now. I know he did look into porn when we got together. It didn't bother me. I used to watch it with him, and but now it's gotten to the point where we're almost not having sex at all.
Well, whether he's looking at porn or not, why would you stay with someone who won't have sex with you?
Well, besides our history and
that's not a good enough reason. If what's he done for you lately? If he will not have sex with you, why would you want to be with him?
It's a good question, Tom. I can't answer it.
Well, the point is there is no good reason. You have to tell him, sex part of the deal. You're either going to have sex with me, or it's over.
Yeah, I've told him multiple times.
No, but that's the problem. You don't tell him multiple times. You tell him one time.
No, I've told him many times.
No, I'm telling you. I know you have, but here's what you do. You tell him one time, and then that's it. You're gone.
Yeah.
He knows you're going to tolerate. That's why you'll never get sex.
I've even tried to threaten him of maybe going somewhere else.
Stop with the threats. Start doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're too lazy to find another man. That's what this is all about. You're too lazy.
Yeah, it's never been put to me that way, Tom. You're probably right.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier if you just sit there on your ass and browbeat this guy. By the way, nothing takes away sexual feeling more than harassing and nagging and repeating the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only making the problem worse. The best thing you can do is simply leave.
You're right, Tom.
So you got to do it. Not tell him, I'm going to leave if you don't. No. Do it.
Okay.
Then you have to go through the work of finding a new boyfriend.
Right.
But you know what? Stop sitting on your ass and go out there and do it.
You're right, Tom.
All right?
Yep. Can you take me out of THX, though?
Of course I can, Laura. $1-800-5800-TOM. It's Will on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, what's Tom?
Yes.
Hey, yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get a better connection on you, Will, because it sounds terrible. But let's say hello here to Melissa on the Tom Leykis Show.
Good afternoon, Tom. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Well, I just want to say that when I started dating my boyfriend pretty early on, I found out that he watched porn. It was an accident. I walked in on him. I was more embarrassed than he was, I think. I didn't want him to feel like he was doing anything wrong. We talked about it. I have absolutely no problem with it. I've seen the kind of porn that he watches. We watch it together. Not all the time, because it's something he likes to do by himself occasionally. No problem. I totally agree with you about these women that think they can fix men. You can't fix men just like you can't fix women. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And that's up to you to decide whether you can put up with it or not.
That's right.
If not, go phone somebody else.
I just really think that people think, I tried so hard to make this work. I'm not going to give up now. I've invested so much time in this. I've been with him for 5 years now, and I'm not going to... please, it's just a matter of laziness.
Oh, it is, totally. And so what if you've invested 5 years? What are you going to do? Waste 2 more years of that person's life in your life before you go and do something about it?
If he's not, by the way, to the other call, if he's not having sex with you, today is the day to go.
Well, there's probably something else wrong besides the fact that he watches porn.
Who cares what the reason is? If he's not... here's the deal. To me, in a relationship, you have a right to expect to get laid.
Exactly.
So therefore, if you're not, it should only take one time. You say, look, I just want you to know, friendly reminder, that when I bought into this relationship, I bought into regular service.
Of course.
And if I'm not getting serviced regularly, it's going to be over, and it is not an idle threat. I will do it. So do what you like, but I will be with someone who will service me on a regular basis.
Well, part of the problem is, too, people just aren't honest with themselves and each other, and they think if they are what they think the person wants, that'll keep them around longer, but you can only put up an act for so long.
Yeah. I really don't understand why people don't just put it fair and square.
Well, because like you said, people are lazy. Women are afraid. They don't want to go out and date again, or they've gotten fat and they don't want to lose weight and go out and find somebody new.
Right. You have to get on that treadmill and go to the gym every day. Ugh.
It's a pain in the ass. I do it, but I got to.
That's right. Of course, most women I know only go to the gym when they're looking for a guy. When they have a guy, they stop going altogether.
I've had mine for 2 years, and I'm doing it to keep him.
That's what you have to do.
That's what you have to do.
No doubt about it.
Not that it's hard to be good-looking in Portland.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the call. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
If your boyfriend makes $28,000 a year, you are hideous.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Will on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, it's Will.
I know, I just said that.
Hi, how you doing?
Do you care, Will?
Of course I do.
I'm doing great.
So,
Yeah.
I was downloading some porn on my computer, and my girlfriend came home before I did, and she found that I was downloading porn. She called me up. She's like, hey, what's going on? Why are you downloading porn? I'm like, well, I'm doing it for a friend, because he kind of wants me to...
Why'd you lie about it? Why'd you lie about it?
Because I knew she'd flip out if I told her that I was...
Why do you care? So what if she flips out? So what?
I know, it's like a...
pal, you're 22. You're too young to have a girlfriend anyway.
Yeah, I know, Tom, I know.
And now you're pussing out, and you're saying, you're lying to her instead of saying, if you're into porn, you're going to be into porn all your life.
Yeah, but the thing was also is that we watched porn together before, and I kind of thought, it wasn't that big of a deal, but then I could tell...
She didn't want you watching it alone.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you lied to her. And so what happened? Did she ever find out the truth?
Yeah, look, she called it my friend after I told her.
Oh, she checked up on you, too.
Yeah, and my friend was like, well, I don't really know what's going on. He thought it was a joke at first. And so then she calls me back, and she's all, hey, he doesn't know anything about it. You lied to me. But actually, it really was for him, so I don't know.
Oh, it was for him? I thought you said you lied.
I mean, I was for me and him, so I didn't really... I kind of did, but I kind of didn't.
Yeah, come on. You're all over the road, pal.
I know.
And your girlfriend cracks the old whip over you.
Sometimes.
Why do you need a girlfriend at 22?
Security reasons, I guess.
What security is there in that?
Pretty much sex whenever you want it, I guess.
Pal, you can get sex whenever you want it.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a girlfriend to get sex whenever you want. Like, let me use the old magazine analogy, okay?
Okay.
Let's say there's a particular magazine you like.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you could get it, like Time magazine. You could get it every week. You could subscribe. But you can also go to a newsstand and pick up Time. And every once in a while, maybe you'd rather read Newsweek.
That's true.
Maybe you'd rather read U.S. News and World Report.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'd like to read all three in one night.
Yeah, if I was lucky enough.
You don't have to subscribe.
Yeah.
Do you have that little self-esteem that you believe you could not find other women?
Oh, yeah, I could, but, she's a good woman. Besides this thing,
Besides this thing?
Yeah.
I mean, why aren't you having all the fun you can now while you can?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, I want to know the answer.
Yeah. Like I said, it's mostly I think like you said, it was more me insecure about myself than anything else.
Well, you know what? Buck up and realize that the older you get, the more chicks you're going to get.
Yeah.
The hotter they are, the younger they'll be.
Yeah.
Don't you understand that?
Yeah, I understand it.
You sound like a guy who do something really stupid, like marry his girlfriend at 23, and then by 30, you'd be sitting there, cruising the internet looking for other action.
And I was going to take your advice, and I wasn't going to really get into anything too serious with her until I was 25, but,
How about you not call her your girlfriend? Let's start with that.
Yeah, make her a booty call, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, well, thanks for kicking my ass.
You won't do it.
Yeah.
You don't have the guts. She's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right? And if she says, was that you on the Tom Leykis show, you go, oh, no, must be somebody else. Must be somebody else named Will.
Yeah.
With a girlfriend who gets pissed off when I look at porn. I mean, when he looks at porn.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're going to do, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, all right. Meow.
All right, anyways.
Meow.
Do me a favor and... do me a favor.
Meow. Are you hearing me? Meow.
I know, meow. Meow, meow, meow.
That's you.
That's me. I'm sorry. I should kick my own ass.
Yeah, you should, really.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, Tom.
All right, Will. I've had about enough. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Eric on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Tom, you are the man.
Thank you.
So, yeah, this is really easy for me to see that the reason chicks really hate porn the most is that a guy pays one price, one time, and has any number of sexual experiences from then on, without paying again and again and again.
And never has to talk to any of these chicks.
There you go. Simple, take care of it, and it reminds them of how we take care of our needs with them.
That's right. Exactly.
So, Tom, take me out old school, bro.
Here you go. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Ray on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
What's up?
Not much, Ray.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
All right. So I screwed up here about 4 years ago when I married this high school sweetheart, right? So she's like a Bible thumper and squared away, but, I managed to work in different stuff and get her kind of up to speed on bedroom stuff. Well, she doesn't like the porn, though. So I got two girls on the side, and they just love this stuff. We'll sit in there and watch porn. They don't care what we do or how to do it or anything like that. They get a kick on that stuff.
So you're not just watching porn with these chicks. You're doing stuff with them.
Oh, give me a break. What do you watch porn for?
Well, I'm just checking.
You always got to have something.
I see. So all this because your wife won't watch porn with you.
Well, that, you get kind of sick. I screwed up sticking with her and then going ahead and getting married with her a whole...
Well, I see here on the screen you've got no kids. Why do you stay?
Well, I'm finishing off my apprenticeship right now, and once I go ahead and top out, I got another, probably about another year. So she's kicking in money kind of on the side for this and that, and so I figured once I can get all my bills paid off, then I ain't got no reason to stick around.
And then you won't. Don't knock her up, Ray.
Oh, good God, no. Oh, man. That's all that I need is, like, little me's running around right now. I can't even get myself squared away that good.
Yeah.
Let alone raising a couple other ones.
Well, yeah, well, not only that, wait till she has you paying for it.
Yeah, screw that.
Hang on a second. Nick, what do you want to say to Ray here?
I think Ray needs to go there. I mean, what's going on, you know? I mean, are you a man or are you a woman?
Hey, I'm a man. Why?
I mean, your wife won't let you watch porn? I mean, what is that? You can watch that porn before you met her. You're going to watch porn after she's gone. So
she's got old school beliefs. She was raised in church and doesn't believe in drinking or nothing. It was like a real odd couple setup.
But
like,
you knew that before you married her.
Yeah.
And you married her anyway.
All the church girls I know are the worst.
Well, this one kind of, I don't know. Her mom's like a little psycho and stuff like that, so she got like this weird kind of Bible theology and stuff. Like, she was telling me I was damned and this and that and blah, 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 but...
Do you guys have kids yet?
No kids.
I'm telling you, though, the wife is putting little pinpricks in the condoms right now.
Oh, no, I wouldn't even... I got her, we go ahead and we use rubber and she's on that Depo shot.
Then why are you using rubbers?
Dude, even that, if you find me something that you can give a girl that's 100%, then I'll go ahead and not worry about the Depo, but that's still playing with any of that magic. Besides that, I don't go with her when she gets a Depo shot, so I don't even know if she's getting a Depo shot.
I think he is making a very good point there. I think Ray should not take any chances on getting that chick knocked up.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I've got 10 rules for the net, Tom. I'm not going to name them all, but number one and most importantly is, get a pick.
The Tom Leykis Show. On 100.
The Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Mason on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, thanks for taking my call.
I did it as a public service, Mason.
Well, thank you very much. I think that a lot of women are intimidated with porn. I actually was once very intimidated. I hated porn, and now I actually produce and direct porn. So
Really?
I think, go ahead.
I said, really?
Yeah, I just think it's an evolutionary process.
How so?
Well, I think that women are intimidated by sex. A lot of them are. I think their sexuality is something that they're not allowed to express in a lot of instances. So therefore, they kind of take that preconceived notion about sex to porn. So it's very hard for women to just relax and enjoy porn.
Well, all I say is I don't care if women are comfortable with it or not. All I care about is that women must know that their men are into porn before they get serious or before they get married or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's another example of something that women quietly tolerate until they get us to sign on the dotted line. Then they start browbeating us about it.
I understand. That's a lot of things with women. They put up with, let's say, watching football with the guys or going to sports bars, and it gets old. And then, in the beginning, they should have thought it out and gone with somebody else. It's going to be a problem in the end.
Yeah. That's a message I'm trying to send to all the women out there. If the guy you're with does things you don't like, start dating somebody else.
And to the men, too, as well. I mean, if they find someone like their last caller who's a church-going, Bible thumper, I don't think that's the person that you want to be with if you want to watch porn. Or if porn's going to be a part of your life, you have to choose a partner that's going to respect that and accept it.
Well, there's somebody who picked a partner at too young an age, as I'm always lecturing against on this program.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Mason.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello to Dee on the Tom Leykis Show.
What's going on, Tom?
Not much, Dee.
I have a question for you. What if you go out with a guy and, eventually get married, whatever, and you were both into that stuff before, and then all of a sudden now it's a problem for the guy? What do you do?
What stuff are we talking about?
Well, for example, I try to take my husband to, a bar, where you get lap dances.
A strip club.
Right. And
now he's not into that anymore? Well, there are some guys who suffer from what Dr. Tony Grant used to call the Madonna Whore Complex. Read up on it, baby.
The Tom Leykis Show.